This is St. Anthony of Padua Retrad channel, and today I have His Excellency Bishop Altamira. Is that, I think I say that correctly? Bishop Altamira? um, and he was ordained by His Excellency Bishop Fellay in 2000 with the SSPX, and was recently this year consecrated by His Excellency Bishop de Silva on January 7th. Actually, I'm thankful that you're here. I appreciate your time. I know you're busy. I think just to start off the interview, maybe you can tell me just a little bit about who you are, just the place that you're at, your chapel, and what you have going on, your different ministries and whatnot.
Okay. Well, thank you very much also for the interview. About me, I was born in Argentina in 1970. So I have 53. I will be 54 this year in October.
Mm-hmm.
And I was ordained, as you said, in 2000. So I will be 24 years priesthood this year also. Well, I was born in Argentina, in Cordoba, the second city of the country. My first destination as a priest was inside Argentina, in the city of Mendoza. There I was 10 years, and I was prior of the Society San Pius X. And after that, I was sent to Colombia. Now I am living in Colombia for the last 15 years here in Colombia. And here in Colombia, I was also the prior of Bogota in the Society San Pius X. I was there as a prior since 2010. And in 2014, January 2014, I left the society for all this kind of problem there inside. And first I was with the resistance, the so-called resistance with Bishop Williamson. I was with him almost 2 years, and after that, for different problems, I was in contact with Bishop Morelo. He died recently, and with Bishop da Silva. But this is more or less the general scheme of my life.
Okay. Your Excellency, so currently you're in Colombia. What's the name of the chapel that you're part of, and where do you operate as a bishop in Colombia?
Well, as I said, I was the prior first. I was here in Bogota, the capital city of Colombia. I was the prior of the society, and after that, more or less, half of the faithful left also the society and came with me in my new chapel. In fact, my actual chapel is very close by the priory of the society St. Pius X. It's almost, I think, 9 blocks. We are very close. But as I said, the half of the faithful left also the society and went with me here. And after that, this was in January 2014. So I am in my new chapel for the last 10 years here, almost, no, 10 years. And after that, for the faithful has been growing a bit. So now I am in my own chapel, let's say. And my society as a bishop, the name of the society is Sociedad de Santa Maria. This is the name of my society.
Did you grow up, Your Excellency, in the traditional church, or did you grow up in the Novus Ordo, or what was your upbringing?
Okay, I was born in the Novus Ordo with my family, and at the age of I think 17 years old, I knew the reality or the fact of this kind of problem in the church, in the Catholic Church. I was lucky, let's say this way, because I was attending in a secondary school in my country, and some of the professors there, of the teachers there, were faithful of the Society of St. Pius X. In that way, one of my companions in the classroom knew the existence of the Latin Mass. In our school, we had Latin and also Greek, part of the subjects, and
Okay.
I liked very much Latin and also Greek. So the first time I was very interested to see a Latin Mass. This is my beginning. And after that, when I was 17 years old, and after I start to read and to know and to study all the different problems of this fourth new church of the council. And after that, the different steps, and I was very, eh, how do you say in English, muy comprometido con estos temas de la iglesia,
Mhm.
my desire of being a good Catholic. And after that, I became to be very, muy comprometido, we said in Spanish, I don't know the word in English,
That's
in
fine.
the faithful of the society in my own city. After that, I did a retreat of Saint Ignatius with the Society of St. Pius X.
Hmm.
After this retreat, I was in the university studying law. In fact, I am a lawyer. I could
Okay.
graduate in law in my country, and I entered the seminary in the year of the Society of St. Pius X in the year 1995. In
Oh,
March 1995. After 6 years, I was ordained in 2000.
when you were when you joined the SSPX, their seminary, um, maybe you could tell us a little bit about the seminary. Did well, maybe like what was your role in the seminary? Did you have certain jobs that you do, or just tell us a little bit about the seminary experience?
The ministry was very nice, of course. A well organized seminary with all the different subjects and the jobs, of course.
Hmm.
In the seminary, my duties were inside the ceremonies. I was master of ceremonies there in the seminary. This was my job in the seminary for the whole 6 years. I went there. I was there.
When before you went to the seminary, what was it that? How did you sense your draw or call to be a priest?
After I was still a lay faithful, as I said, and I was in the university studying law. In my university, the studies of law were 6 years. When I was in the fourth year, I decided to start thinking about vocation. When I was in the
Mm,
fourth year of the university, in the end of this fourth year of law, of University of Law, the idea of maybe I can have another vocation was strong,
mm-hmm.
and because of that, I decided to go to a retreat, San Ignatius retreat in the and in that case the retreat will be we're going to be in the seminary also to see the all the seminary the place. I was
Okay.
I was interested in that also because there there were different places, but I wanted to do it in the seminary, inside the seminary.
Mm-hmm.
And after this retreat, I should uh, I should be in the rest of the year in the fifth year of the university, and I was everything thinking about after the retreat. So when I ended the fifth year of the university, I took the decision to enter the seminary, but I was uh, but I had the council of some priests. I was almost to graduate as a lawyer. They think it was in my case better to end the university and after that enter the seminary. So I had my decision for a whole year, attended the university, and after this whole year, I finally entered to the seminary.
Okay. When you finished your seminary with the SSPX, where did you first go? I know eventually you said you went to Colombia, where you are now, but maybe where were you placed?
Okay, after being a priest, I only had two destinations, only two. The first one inside Argentina, in the city of Mendoza. I
Mm-hmm.
was 10 years in Mendoza. And after that, I was sent to Colombia, to the prior of Bogota, the capital city. And I was as a prior there or here for 3 years. And after that, I left the society. I only had two destinations in my whole life: 10 years in Argentina in one place, Mendoza, and after that, 3 years in Bogota. Only two destinations. I was in the society, well, 6 years of the seminary, and as a priest, 13, almost 14 years.
Almost 14 years. So, at what point, being with the society, did things begin to change in your thinking?
I realized that when Bishop Bernard Fellay started all this kind of very usual contacts with the false Rome, and also because of these different campaigns. I think is the word in English of the Rosary. Is correct, the word campaign for the Rosary.
Mm-hmm.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the graces he wanted to get was that the tradition uh, go, goes inside the church. I think is the
Yeah.
opposite. Is the opposite. This is a false church. I was taught like that. This is a false church, a new church. They should go to the Catholicism, not we inside that. Well, I was thinking a lot of that, and also the worst part when it became the statements, the official statement with Benedict 15 and different statements, very wrong. For example, some of them saying or accepting the validity of the sacraments of the Novus Ordo. This is the opposite. This was the opposite, comparing when I was talking in the seminary about all these different subjects. So this is weird. Well, because of the thing I was thinking, because of all these kind of problems, for the whole year I was thinking what to do, what is happening. Well, and after that I decided to in a sermon say publicly that the difference, at least one of these problems were wrong, and of course the Sapiro was Father Bushakur was knew this sermon, and well, and after that all the different things, and finally I left the society, etc.
One of the things you said was their idea of the new rites, like the new ordination for priests
And also
bishops, right? Correct. Um, did you, when you first went into the society?
From there.
Yeah, when you first went into the society, did they speak? Did they not believe the ordinations were valid, or did things change from?
I was I was told exactly like that. When I was a lay faithful, I was told about the problem of invalidity of the new priests and the new bishops. In the seminary, was the same.
Hmm.
The point was to know that the new priest, because of the new rite, and the new bishops were invalid because of the problem of the rights. And after that, to say that they are really valid priests and valid bishops, the new one, this is, for me, was a point incredible for me. And it was
That
very
is,
good for me then.
yeah, that is. I find that very interesting because what I hear now, if I listen to SSPX, you could say apologist or a priest, they'll say that it's almost like they defend the new rights by saying they're not invalid. They look at each case by case, each priest, case by case.
But you know
And
why? You know why? I know that, but you know why? Because the new right in itself is valid, but maybe some crazy bishop, new bishop, I don't know how to say, were doing very, very different things, comparing the new right of Rome,
Mhm.
and this is why they examine each case, but it's not for the right. The right, they think, is okay. The
Yeah,
problem maybe is one a bit strange or as a bishop, new bishop,
sure.
if they did strange things, but the right in itself they consider valid. It's very grave because
And that part is what is different, correct? They used to, you saying, think the right is bad, is invalid. Now they look at case by case.
yes,
Yes.
they consider the right in the exact point, as it was done uh, from the new Rome. The new right is okay, but the problem is if a bishop did bad things during the right.
Mm.
That's the point. But they consider the right is okay, and it is uh, textually, literally in the declaration of Bishop Fellay.
Why do you think the society changed its mind or position on the new rights?
What always was said in our congregation, this is a false church. This is not the Catholic Church, and they changed their minds and started to think this was the Catholic Church.
Mm.
And the problem with the Pope. The Pope was also a very important point. The Pope, so, and there was also, of course, an error there. In the Society of St. Pius X, they always are thinking this is the Pope, although he's saying heresies. This is impossible. I think maybe the problem was introduced by this way. I think maybe.
Maybe, yeah. Okay, yeah. So that when you so when you expressed your concern in that sermon, um, what did they say to you? Did they say you have to leave, or what happened?
Yeah, they they told me you should, how you say in English, retractate.
Oh, retract.
Retract. You
Yeah,
should
retract is yeah, take
uh,
back.
you should retract also publicly,
Mm,
and you are removed from your charge of prior, and now you will be in Buenos Aires, not in Bogota, as a how you say in English, a collaborator of the prior of Buenos Aires.
mm.
You're not anymore the prior of Bogota. You should retract, and after that you should go to Buenos Aires as a simple collaborator of the prior there. They told me like that.
When you were in Bogota. Were you head of the prior or one of the priests in the prior?
No, I was the prior in
The prior, okay.
prior. I was the authority.
How many priests did you have as the prior in Bogota?
We were three.
Three, okay.
I was the prior and also two, well, in English the word colaboradores. Colaboradores priest.
Collaborator.
Collaborators priest. Two.
Collaborator priest.
In total three.
When you gave this homily, this sermon, and the SSPX talked to you, what was the feeling or attitude of the other priests, the collaborator at the priory with you?
Very good question. They think at that time, at least, they think as me. By they felt or they said that they had not the strength to took a decision, but to take a decision. By all the three were thinking the same. But in the case of them, the other two collaborators of mine, they were thinking as me, but they didn't feel the strong to take a decision, and they are still inside the society. And one of them uh, have left the society, but in the bad way because finally, incredible, he went to the new church.
Oh, okay.
And the other one is still in the society.
When they told you you have to leave the Bogota, go back to Argentina, what did you do at that point? Did you say, how did you respond?
I said I will think about and I will give you, Father Ushaku, my answer. And finally, I took 1 day or 2 days, no more like that. And I said to him that no, I will remain in the class and I will go on doing my work as a priest here in Colombia. Well, so the different problem, and I left the priory,
Mm-hmm.
and I rent a house here in the same neighbor to start my chapel with my faithful, etc. At that time, half of the faithful of the priory went with me.
Okay. Now, so half of the faithful. Okay. Did you at this point in time, or maybe how long after, did you connect with His Excellency Bishop Williamson?
For the first moment, because in the first time when I was a priest in the Society of St. Pius X, I had a kind of admiration for him. Really, I had a kind of admiration for him, about him. So Bishop Williamson, in the first time, I have to, how do you say, esperanzas in English.
I suppose a hope.
My hopes were with him. I was thinking this will be a bishop who who will go on defending the true faith and our religion and Catholicism, etc. But after 1 year and a half, I realized he was the same as Bishop Fellay. I couldn't believe that. It was a reality, a fact. So I left the group of Bishop Williamson. I left the society in January 2014, and I was with Bishop Williamson until more or less 1 year and a half, maybe a bit more. Let's say to 2015. In the end, 2015, I left the resistance of Bishop Williamson, Bishop Ford, etc.
At this time, in around 2014, 2015, where was say, Bishop Four and Bishop Williamson located at this time? Were they in South America or that area?
In the first time, the father Ford, but right in that time,
Mm-hmm.
Father Ford was living, I think, in Mexico,
Mm.
but he was he was here some months. I don't remember how many months was he was here. And Bishop Williamson was in England. In England.
Okay, still in England. What was it, Your Excellency, what was it that was similar in your mind with Bishop Williamson and Bishop Fellay? What was the same that you noted?
I think the main point is what we had talked before, the point of the new ordination of priests and the new consecration of bishop. This is exactly the same as Bishop Fellay. Exactly. They think the new priest and the new bishop are valid. And there is a big contradiction there because Bishop Williamson sometimes they reordains some priests, some new priests. But it is, I think, the same point as we talked about the society, because maybe the new bishop that was in charge of the rite of ordination did many things strange or not, or sometimes, or this is also a point that is very wrong. Sometimes they reordain some new priest because the subject, the person, is very sad or very, how do you say in English, preocupado.
He's maybe not sure of his ordination.
No, it's a word, or not sure of his ordination, preocupado. How do you say in English, preocupado? He's upset about his ordination. He's with anxiety about the problem of validity. So they think it's valid in itself, as the rite was made by the new one. But if the subject is very concerned about his situation and he's anxious, he has doubts, he's not with peace for the person and not for the rite, they repeat the ordination. This is very wrong, and this is a sin in our theology, Catholic theology. You cannot repeat a rite because of the subject. You maybe can repeat the rite in itself if there is something wrong with the validity, but not because of the subject or the person. For example, Father Edgar Diaz, he's a friend of mine, was a new priest, and he asked Bishop Sendejas in the group of Bishop Williamson, etc., and he asked Bishop Sendejas for the reordination, and the answer of Bishop Sendejas was, "No, there is no necessity. Your priesthood is valid." The answer of Bishop Sendejas. In the same, and he was very concerned. Concern is the correct word?
Yes.
He was very concerned about his situation is valid or not is valid. So he asked again to other bishops of the same group, Bishop Tomás de Aquino in Brazil. And Bishop Tomás de Aquino, do you know him?
I do. Thomas Aquinas, Bishop. Yeah. Yes.
And he asked Don Tomás de Aquino, Bishop Don Tomás de Aquino, and Don Tomás de Aquino said to him, "Okay, I will do the reordination."
And he agreed. He agreed to it because of the person, right? Not the rite.
For the person, because the policy or the thinking of the group of the resistance is that they are valid. Bishop Williamson was the translator of the article of the Dominican of France about the validity of the new bishops. The Dominican of Abrier in France, they did many years ago an article saying that the new rite of bishop is valid. And the translator from the French to the English was Bishop Williamson for the magazine Angelus Press. Do you know it?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
the translation, the original article of the Dominican of Abrier was in French, and the translation justifying the validity of the new bishops, and the translator was Bishop Williamson to the Angelus Press in English.
You know, Your Excellency, I'm not that familiar with the resistance, but I was always under the impression that the resistance and the Sedevacantists were similar in their view of the new rights, but you're saying that that's not the case.
No,
That okay.
absolutely not the case. No. In some cases, particular cases, they did the reordinations, but because of the concerns of the person, of the priest, of the new priest, but they consider at least Bishop Williamson, Bishop Sendejas, they consider is valid the new right of bishops.
Interesting. They just feel maybe that the bishop might do it wrong. The Nova Soto bishop
This is
may do it
one of
wrong.
and the other possibility. Maybe this is not the case, but the person is very concerned. So for his peace, I will give him the reordination.
Hmm.
This is a thing. You cannot repeat a right only because of the anxiety of the person. The problem should be in the right, not in the person, in the concerns of the person.
When you were working with the SSPX and the resistance, did you ever have a situation where you were with a priest that was not a valid priest? That was a Nova Soto priest that came over.
If I knew one,
Yes,
yes, when I
or worked with or trabajas with one.
yes. Well, at that time, I think they were still reordinating some of them at least. I realized the problem really when with the public, uh, how you say, statements of Bishop Fellay, I
Mm.
think in 2013, I think it was, with Benedict, well, Benedict 16th. So when I was a public declaration saying by the head of the congregation and say that it is valid, the reader, what is that? What is that? This is not what I was taught in the seminary and also as a lay people. But after that, I realized they were doing this kind of thinking or policy, considering the validity of the new right, and maybe I'm not sure of what I was going to say. I will say maybe they consider in some point of the territory, for example, in South America, maybe they were still saying more or less the same. But I think in Europe they were doing this kind of things. One consider the validity of the new right.
Hmm.
Maybe they act in different ways depending of the territory of the or the people there.
Okay. So, how did you come to the position of Sedevacantism then? While you were with the resistance, was this something you were thinking about? At,
In the seminary in the Society of St. Pius X, this subject is not a point of the studies there, and this is wrong. They should give us difference. They should be in the study of the different subjects of the seminary. But
Mhm.
they only said us this is wrong, and it is enough. This is wrong. But always I was thinking from the seminary, since the seminary, this is a strange thing because of the difference words of the saints and also the the theologians about that. So this is strange because San Roberto Bellarmino, because different sense was talked about the heresy of the Pope and all these distinctions, etc. So I was always thinking not so bad about, but in the concrete point, I mean, I knew nothing about that because there are not, this point was not part of the studies in Argentina in the seminary. They told us this is wrong, enough. Okay, this is wrong. But anyway, I was thinking, and I never had a very wrong impression about that. So when I left the group of Bishop Williamson, I I told myself, well, I should study seriously the problem of Sedevacantism, and I should try to have an answer for me and also for the seminary. Today is the Father Pio Vasquez, he's with me, and also for seminarian here in Bogota. I should study very seriously the problem of Sedevacantism and if it is wrong or if it is right. So I took, I think, more than half an year to study all the things about that, all the things. So I I took the the answer that there's no problem and it is the correct point after studying I think more or less 6 months or maybe 7 months. More half a year at least. Study only this point with the seminary, with the seminarian, excuse me. And after that, we got the answer. No, this is right, and this is the point. And we became uh, as Sedevacantist, as a Sedevacantist at that time.
Uh, okay, so you left the resistance probably around 2016 or so, or 15.
15 in the end of 15 2015.
And then from 2000, let's say 16 to, I don't know what. Did you operate with any bishop, or how did you come to maybe connect with any Sedevacantist bishop, or were you kind of by yourself?
Okay, so we took, I mean, me and the seminarian, the time to study very seriously the problem of Sedevacantism. We took more or less 6 months, and after that, we realized that this was the correct point, and then we took the decision to try to get in contact with Bishop Morello.
Mm.
And this was very more or less easy for me because he was also of the Society San Pius X. He was living in Argentina, my country. He had some friends. We had some friends in common, so it was easy for me to get in contact a través de estos amigos, friends.
Mm-hmm.
We did the first contact. He answered us that he wanted to help us, so he came to Colombia to give confirmations. I think the first time he came here was maybe in the final month of 2016, I think.
No, okay.
After that, no, the first time I traveled to Argentina to the monastery of him in the Patagonia, Argentina. And I spent, I think, 2 weeks there. I don't remember very well. To get in contact, to know each other, etc. After that, he came to to Colombia, Bogota. He did how you say for the different cities a tour,
Confirmation and stuff.
a tour for confirmations here. And after that, the seminarian in that time, Pio Vasquez, went also to Argentina in the Patagonia to spend some time with him. He received the minor orders there in Argentina. And in 2018, in March, came here Bishop Morello to give the subdiaconate, the diaconate, and the priesthood to Father Pio. And after that, the next year, sería 2019, he also came here to give confirmations. Also, he also traveled here.
Maybe for those maybe don't know Bishop Mello, maybe you could just tell a little bit about him. I think he consecrated by Bishop Neville.
Yes, he was consecrated by Bishop Neville.
Maybe you can, because well, when did Bishop Mello pass away? When did he die?
He died 1 year ago, a little more, 1 year and a half ago.
Oh, okay, recent.
Yes, very recently. I think he died, let me think, 1 month or 2 months after Bishop Dolan.
Okay. At the same time that you were working with Bishop Mello, were you also working with Bishop Dolan as well?
No. At that time, I was only working with Bishop Morello.
Morello.
And in the same time, we started to get in touch with Bishop da Silva. I think, let me think, what year? Maybe 3 years ago. We still were friends and collaborators of Bishop Morello, but because of all these problems, the COVID, etc., he couldn't travel anymore to Colombia. Because of his how you say, health.
Yeah.
He had cardiac problems.
Oh, heart problem.
In fact, he died for a cardiac problem. So he told me he told me that he couldn't travel to Colombia because of his health, and also for all these problems, the coronavirus. And because of that, I got for that time I how you say, yo ya conocía por teléfono al sacerdote Rodrigo Silva for that time. Well,
okay.
And after some time, he was consecrated by Bishop Dolan. So I telephoned him, asking if maybe he can come here to Colombia to give confirmation. And he asked me, yes, I will go. He came and all that. I think 3 years ago, more or less 3 years and a half ago.
How did the topic or the idea of yourself and Bishop Pierrois being consecrated? Because I know both of you were consecrated the same day. So I'm curious how that conversation or the idea came about.
Well, in my case, Bishop da Silva knew me personally when he came here to Colombia for the ordination, but before that we were in touch sometimes by the telephone for different problems, asking for different points, etc., only by phone. But anyway, he knew me because of the Society of San Pius X, because he first was in the monastery of Don Tomás de Aquino. Also, he was a monk also, and in this monastery, when the different bishops of the society were there, sometimes I don't know how they talked about me. So he knew me at least by reference before we knew personally. And after that, we got in touch for some priests, some faithful, and we got in touch by the phone for different problems, asking for your counsel, etc. He finally came here to the confirmations, and some of the faithful asked him to think about the possibility of being giving me the consecration as a bishop. And for the first time, he was thinking, yes, he had good reference about me. He had since the time of the Society San Pius X, because Don Tomás de Aquino were very in touch with the society. So for the first time, he showed himself more or less thinking about could be. And after that, Son of the Faithful wrote him a letter asking him formally for my consecration, and he answered yes. This was in mm, November 2022. He asked, "I will consecrate you." And after that, more than a year after, finally the consecration took place. In the case of Father Juan, he knew him personally in France when Bishop de Silva was a seminarian in France in the group of Bishop Four in the
Mm.
Resist. From that time, he knew him personally to the actual Bishop Roy. And Bishop Roy also inside the Society of St. Pius X, I think I can say that he also had always very good reference about the actual Bishop Roy. He was a very good priest.
We do for the Holy Week? Holy Week. Do you do the Pius XII changes?
Yes, because
Okay.
okay.
I was going to ask that because I heard that you do the Pius XII Holy Week changes. I what, but I also heard that many of the resistance do the pre-55. So what made you to go that to the changes of Pius XII Holy Week changes?
I take the change of Pius XII because he was the Pope and he made these changes. So he's assisted by the Holy Ghost, and it is impossible for a true Pope to give to the whole Church about right of any kind and more in the Holy Week. So for me, this is no problem. For me, it's enough to know that Pius XII is a true Pope. He decided this kind of liturgical changes. He's assisted by the Holy Ghost, and it is impossible for a true Pope to give to the whole church about right. It's impossible. So this is enough for me. But anyway, I think there is no problem because the different points of the different, how you say, gustos litúrgicos in English.
Maybe I think it's not maybe not an issue to fight.
This is not a point to fight. I have no problem if a priest prefers the St. Pius X liturgy, but
Mm-hmm.
anyway, for me it's enough to know that Pius XII was a true pope, so it is impossible to give the whole church about things about the Holy Week or about any right at all.
When Your Excellency, when you were with the Resistance, or were you doing the pre-55 Holy Week, or were
No,
you
no, I,
always
al-
done?
no, I always was using the Pius XII liturgy.
Okay. Another thing I was going to ask you about the Una Cum issue, but I heard in the let's say the SSPX Resistance
Mhm.
that people will use, say, Pope Francis's name, but they will say in condition. Have you heard this?
I had heard that, but I'm not very sure about that. If they really do like that, but anyway, this is not the point because you cannot put in the canon a person it is not inside the Catholic Church. This is the real point. And in any case, I know a lot of my old companions in the Christian Society SSPX 10 and also in the resistance. And I'm not very sure they are putting a condition when he said the name of Francis in the canon. Anyway, supposing they all do that, this is not the point. You cannot. Francis is not the Pope of the Catholic Church. You cannot put his name in the Holy Mass. And the new church is not the Catholic Church, so you cannot put yourself inside this structure, this false structure, because this structure is not the Catholic Church. It's sad, but it's true.
This makes me think, when you were with the resistance or with the SSPX, was this ever an issue that people were concerned with? For instance, when I spoke with Bishop Waugh, he said to me that while he was with the SSPX, he, at least for a certain amount of time, he never said Pope Francis' name in the canon. So I'm curious. If that's something you noticed as well with the SSPX and resistance time. Pre-struggle with that, maybe fighting with this idea.
Yes, for me it was very, how do you say, shocking. Shock was a shock when Pope Francis was elected, because he was very bad. So I didn't know what to say, what to do. But anyway, I was confused. But anyway, I said, when I was a member of Society SSPX 10, I said to myself, well, I don't know, I will go on putting his name. This is true. But after that, when I realized the point of Sedevacantism, of course, and in my case, I did it. I put it many in the last part of my when I was in the society. I did it conditionally. I did it conditionally in my case. But anyways, it was a wrong solution for a problem. The solution is not to put in a condition. The solution is to realize that he was not the Pope, and that's all. Well, was a bad solution, but I did it. And I knew some priests, some of my companions, they did also, but I'm not sure as a norm, as a rule, not.
And the reason for saying in condition, is it because they think maybe he's not Pope, maybe, or you're not sure, or is that why?
The reason was that maybe he's not the Pope. Yes.
When you were with the resistance, what was the attitude of the resistance to Sedevacantists? Were they more friendly with Sedevacantists, or no?
The same attitude as the Society of SSPX 10. The same.
Okay. What has changed? Has anything changed with you now that you are a bishop? Has your ministry changed in any way, or is it still the same?
In Colombia, we have a lot of work. We have many chapels. I think 12 in the different 12 in the different parts of the country. We have a lot of work here. A lot you can realize, and I think they are more or less 500 faithful here.
Wow.
So we have a lot of work. So a very strong change until today, not, because I should give confirmation. I was in Peru giving confirmation, and here in Bogota, the date of the confirmation have more or less, I think it will be in October or November. So until today, no, I am always busy with the apostolate, and well, the confirmation will be another point, and that's all. Maybe I am also giving the classes to the seminarians. We have 6 seminarians here in Bogota, 5 of Brazil and 1 of Colombia. So it point the classes. The classes take me a lot of time. So we have also no time. We are very busy.
Your Excellency, do you interact with any other Sedevacantist groups or Sedevacantist bishops? Do
you repeat?
Are you able to interact or meet with or work with any other Sedevacantist bishops or groups outside of Colombia?
We are the 3 bishops we were friends are Bishop de Silva, Bishop Ua, and me. But I also had a little contact with Bishop Pivaruna by letter, and it was nice.
Mm-hmm.
And also in my own city, Córdoba, in Argentina, this is also the city of Bishop Espina. So when I went to the house of my parents for the holidays, I try to go to say hello and to visit Bishop Espina also in Argentina. And well, we were in touch also in the first time with Bishop Morelo. More or less, this is the panorama.
Okay. Yeah, it was nice for myself to speak with Bishop Espina too. So it's good to get to know some of these different bishops out there. Your Excellency, is there anything? I think we can kind of finish up right now. We've been going for almost 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you'd like to add, or anything maybe I didn't talk about that I meant to, or something? Is there any last words or whatnot you'd like to add?
I think it is okay.
Okay. I guess we'll finish with this. With that, I appreciate you coming on. I know you're busy and your time, so I'm grateful for it. It's nice to meet you, and even though maybe through the computer.
Mm-hmm.
Would you give us your a benediction, and or your blessing, and
Okay.
we'll close.
Okay, very nice too. It will be for you and your wife. Very.
Okay.
Benedictio Dei omnipotentis, Patri et Filii et Spiritus Sancti, descenda super vos et maniat semper. Amen.